Welcome everyone to Unfolding Consciousness number 49, the divine forces within humans, the awakening of our dormant faculties. We continue through Unfolding Consciousness, our study series on the awakening of the latent faculties and powers of consciousness, the divine forces within all of us. You may recognize these in the objects of Theosophy, and they are the investigation of the unexplained laws or hidden mysteries of nature and the psychic powers that are latent in man. This is big. Remember, we have a whole series on that every Saturday night here on the Living Theosophy channel, and we hammer home the responsibility that comes with these abilities and powers. There is a huge responsibility to use them wisely and unselfishly. I am grateful to explore perennial philosophy's explanation of these natural forces that exist within Dr. Eddie Bilimoria's Unfolding Consciousness, Exploring the Living Universe, and the intelligent power in nature and human powers in nature and humans. Volume 3, we're gazing through the telescope. Man is the measure of all things. We're on page 173 in chapter 9. Now, if you want to skip ahead and go directly to the reading of the book, I've included a blue timestamp down below, and where applicable in these lessons, I try to put the clickable chapters in for you as well, because I love and I appreciate you. I am grateful that you are here. I am. There's nowhere else I'd rather be on Sundays than here with you. And if you get anything out of these lessons at all, anything, please like, subscribe, and share, because getting these out into the world where people can find them, put them into application, will change our world. These are the ancient teachings. It's not about Eddie. It's not about me. It's about you, and they belong to everybody. Ebooks of Unfolding Consciousness are now available. They're only $24.99 in most local currencies. I put the link down below. And for this book study, if you want the hardback set for your library or a local library, you get 25% off because you're you. Just type in, "I want my copy!" if you purchase from the Shepherd Walwyn website. So, yay. Okay, so let's go for it. Our yellow Post-it study notes. Eddie puts these in the corner of the pages and in the margins so you can find your way around easily. Our yellow Post-it study notes for today are 3 aspects of reality related to 3 functions aligned to 3 stages of manifestation. The function of the 3 divine forces and the 3 divine forces that are always in action in different degrees. Now, we had to stop in the middle of the role of divine forces last week because it is a massive little chapter, and we left off with, as per the Hermetic axiom, what applies to the universe applies to the child, man. To the universe's child, man, that's us. The clearest and most detailed expositions on the divine forces in the human being are in the occult philosophy of Hinduism. The Trimurti, hope I'm saying that right, the Trimurti, the Trinity or 3 faces or triple form of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesha. Okay, these will sound familiar. An aspect of Shiva, that's Mahesha. They represent the 3 aspects of reality that are related to the 3 functions corresponding to the 3 stages of manifestation. This is depicted in a table we're going to have coming up for you, Jonathan, and for all of you who like the tables. But it is important to stress that the 3 functions are performed by the manifested deity known as Ishvara in Indian philosophy and Logos by the ancient Greeks, as also in Theosophical literature. Now, the Logos works through the agency of the 3 forces that are derived from and directly related to its 3 aspects, acting as instruments of its respective functions in the body. Now, despite science's very limited, minute, and detailed knowledge about the human body regarding these 3 divine forces, science only acknowledges one, and that is electricity. In fact, the Royal Institution of Great Britain recently, back in March 2018, hosted a discussion on the electricity of life, exploring how our body creates electricity, how it was discovered, and what clues our understanding of electricity can help to cure disease. And although science, as of yet, would hardly want to hear about electricity derived from Brahma, and still less its correspondence with Fohat, which is the creative force of Brahma, we still have a long way to go. Science has had suspicions suspicions about another force related to vaguely as vitalism. But any such notions of vitalism were effectively closed down and condemned by the principal advocates of molecular biology, who dogmatize that life is nothing other than physical chemistry. However, vitalism is slowly making a welcome comeback in the modern guise of morphogenesis. Now, I tried to find a synonym of morphogenesis for us, but I found this to help you understand. It is the biological process of the unfolding of form and structure, morphogenesis. Now, the third force, listen, is unknown to science, but it's going to be known to you. I think many of you will know this. Eddie says here that before proceeding, it is most important to note two facts. First, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesha are not three separate divine persons or beings, but three aspects of one logos in the exercise of his three different functions, in the same sense as in Christianity, where Father, Son, and Holy Ghost are the three persons of one God. They are not separate gods, as Newton vehemently maintained. That's Isaac Newton. Quickly here, Blavatsky in the Theosophical Glossary defines logos as the manifested deity with every nation and people, the outward expression of creation, or the effect of the cause, which is ever concealed. So you never know where it's coming from because it is the absolute. Anyway, the three different types of forces are derived from and related to the three aspects of the logos. Now, these forces are not interconvertible, which means they cannot be converted into each other. Like mechanical energy can be converted into heat, but there are three different types of energy poured out from the sun. Strictly speaking, the solar logos, of which the physical sun is its outer clothing. So what we see when we look at the sun is the body of the solar logos. And then it is appropriated by the human body for its various functions. Now, Eddie covers this more later, and we will go over this. And Eddie asks you here, is not the vitalizing effect of sunshine a very common thing? We've heard of SAD, SAD, which stands for seasonal affective disorder, known to many people who have feelings of depression and sadness and heaviness because if they're cut off from the sun due to overcast days, or during the winter where we don't see the sun very much. It's a very real thing. It's a very real thing. So all material changes in the human body are brought about by electricity. All material changes in the human body are brought about by electricity and other related forces such as electromagnetism and their associated organizing fields known to science. They are related to the form or material side of the body, hence derived from Brahma as creator. Now, prana, which is derived from Vishnu as a preserver and a pervader, is related to the life side of the body, the life force and nature, and it is responsible for and underlies all processes in the body to make it a living organism. It is the life force, as opposed to a lifeless collection of matter and forces. Most significantly, prana lies at the base, at the bottom of sensation, and without prana, without this, without its association to a sense organ, like the vibrations received by that organ would remain ineffective and would not be converted into sensation. So we need prana to feel our senses. Therefore, the endeavor by neuroscience to discover a neural, which is a nervous system correlate of consciousness, has been met only with partial and limited success and will never attain fruition until due awareness and understanding is taken of vitalism and the role of prana, this life-giving energy that we all have. Meanwhile, the third divine force, unknown to science, but probably known to you, is Kundalini, derived from Mahesha, which is an aspect of Shiva, the regenerator, and is found only in the human being and not in any other living organism. Now, the reason is a little complex, Eddie says, but let me try here to outline. It is because the functioning of the first logos, and again, logos is the outward expression of the manifested deity, begins only when the causal body is formed, the higher self, the higher mind, with buddhi. All right, we've talked about that, and that only happens in human beings. That is, upon individualization, when the divine becomes us. So let's take a look at this table on 175. Here we go. Okay, this table is divine forces in the human being, and Eddie has made it very simple. Let's go through this. The logos, its role under the three aspects. We were just talking about this. We have the third logos, Brahma, the creator. The second logos, Vishnu, the preserver. The first logos, Mahesha, the regenerator. Okay, going down, we have the stages in manifestation. Brahma is the first stage, Vishnu is the second stage, and then Mahesha is the third stage. Going down further, the role and function of Brahma is the confining, the limiting, the creation, the manifestation, the creation of the raw material. All right, the physical. And then we have the second stage. The role of Vishnu is the life side, the immanent, it's pervading, it's preservation, perception, the evolution of the vehicles of man. The vehicles, the physical and the mental and spiritual vehicles. All right, and then we have the third stage, Mahesha. This is the consciousness side, okay? This is transcendent, releasing, regeneration, renewal, expression of reality through the vehicles, and unfoldment of their infinite potentialities. Moving down to the plane of operation, we have Atma is Brahma's. Now, you know Atma as the top. All right, this is source. All right, that is the highest part of who we are, God. And then moving on to Vishnu, we have the plane of operation is the Anupadaka. I hope I'm saying that right. That is self-born, meaning having no parents. It is just born, it comes into being. Anupadaka. And then Adi is the plane of operation for Mahesha, and Adi means the first, the beginning, the very origin of the absolute. All right, moving down, role and manifestation of the divine forces in the human being and the correspondences between the triplicity. So we have Brahma, the form is electricity, it is known, and Fohat or Agni. Fohat is the creative energy. This is talked about in Theosophy. Fohat is the creative force of the material, the raw material. All right. And then the gunas, the essential attributes of matter. For Brahma, we have the rajas. Let me explain that. Gunas is Sanskrit, which stands for qualities. They're energetic forces that weave together to form the universe and everything in it. The rajas are passion and emotion. It says dusty, dark, and dim. That makes sense when you think about the material world, but stay with me. And then chit defined means awareness or consciousness. So I hope you're following along. Let's move over to Vishnu. Vishnu's role and manifestation of divine forces in the human being is life. It is the life force. Some people call it chi. There's other names for it. Vitalism, life, that life. And then moving down, it is knowing. It is knowing. You're in life, you are knowing. All right. It is prana or chi, the preserving force of Vishnu. Now going down to the gunas of Vishnu, we have sattva. Sattva means light, goodness, and purity. And the aspect of Vishnu's consciousness, Ananda, you've heard this before, that means joy or bliss. Now moving over to Mahesha. We're going down. Mahesha's role and manifestation of divine forces in the human being is consciousness. Pure consciousness, regeneration. It is the knower. This is the witness. The witness. It is the knower. Kundalini. Kundalini, the regenerating force of Mahesha. And going down to the gunas for Mahesha, we have tamas. Now, tamas means darkness. Now, I know that may be confusing. For the students who go deeper in Theosophy, everything came from not light, but darkness. Light had to come from somewhere. It came from darkness. More on that later if you wish. And Sat is the aspect of consciousness, and that means reality, pure, truth, and right for Mahesha. It is upon the connection of the monad. Now, the monad is the divine spark with the physical body and the associated descent of the eternal element into the causal body. Causal body, again, higher mind, our higher self, that man enters the unending and ever-progressive cycle of evolution, which literally has no limits and for which the previous evolutionary stages in the animal kingdom were just a preparation. So we were vegetable, we were mineral, and everything moves forward. I know. I'm going to read that whole thing again. It is upon the connection of the monad, the divine spark, with the physical body and the associated descent of this eternal element into the causal body, the higher mind, that man enters the unending and ever-progressive cycle of evolution, which literally has no limits and for which the previous evolutionary stages in the animal kingdom serve just as preparation. So Kundalini is ultimately connected with the functioning and unfoldment of consciousness in the human body. Again, science has not unlocked and never will unlock the full mystery of consciousness unless it understands barely the role and function of Kundalini, even if they try half-heartedly. They're never going to understand. Hopefully they will. Maybe some of you might be part of that change. Finally, on the matter of the three fundamental divine forces, it should never be imagined that during the lifetime of a human being that these three forces act sequentially, with only one force active at any one time. All three forces are always in action. What varies is the predominance of one over the others. For example, in a small child, an injury to his body, say maybe a cut to the finger, would heal rapidly because the creative and vital forces of Brahma and Vishnu predominate. Yet in the background, there is the destructive force of Shiva. Now don't freak out because of the eventual inevitable death of the human. It would never occur. We'd go on forever. We have to have Shiva, this destroyer of worlds. It's not a bad thing. It's normal. It's natural. Around middle age, the three forces would be roughly in balance. However, upon reaching old age, the Mahesha force in its role as Shiva Rudra. Now, Rudra means howler or one who roars in Sanskrit. The destroyer, Shiva Rudra, would predominate to bring the incarnation to a close. It's very normal, very natural as birth. All right? It's going to break down the outworn form, our physical body, in order for a breakthrough into a new phase of consciousness and associated materiality. That gives me so much hope. Nonetheless, the Brahma and Vishnu forces would still operate in the background, so the same finger injury inflicted would take longer to heal. So next time, we move on to a matter of crucial importance: the preserving and vitalizing force of Vishnu through the instrumentality of prana or chi. We explore more evidence drawn from both science and occultism in support of this vital principle: vitalism and the nervous ether. We close here with a note from Eddie here on page 176. He says, even with a modicum of intuition, and provided that our minds are not handicapped by materialistic concepts, we should be convinced that behind such dynamically balanced and finely adjusted forces in the human body lies a supreme consciousness, a consummate wisdom, a master intelligence. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love these. Thank you so much for being here. We are studying Unfolding Consciousness, Exploring the Living Universe and the Intelligent Powers in Nature and Humans. This is a book about the ancient teachings. If you want to know what was taught in the mystery schools, this is it. It's not about Eddie. He did not come up with this stuff. He's not pontificating as an author here. He has compiled and organized and referenced these ancient teachings that belong to everybody and solely to no one, put them in a text of 4 volumes that's 1,000 pages long. It came out in 2022. I've been doing these book studies. I recognize what's in here. I've been a student of Theosophy for 15 years. Anyway, listen, please, if you get anything out of this, please like, subscribe, and share, comment. I try to get to all the comments. We are growing, which is really good. That's good. And we have something coming up in 2024. I don't know if I should tell you this, but it's called Academy Sophia. It's a way for us to learn these ancient teachings that is passive, comfortable, and natural. And it has to do with meditation. So I love you, and I'll see you next Sunday. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. I appreciate you.